Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ontario Basketball's live online show. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. My name's Devin Gray. I'm with the Ontario Basketball Association. What we're celebrating tonight is a fun look back, but a catch-up, too, with some of the all-stars of 10 years ago. It's crazy. We're looking 10 years back in the past. Team Ontario normally would be playing this time of year. Of course, we haven't had national championships in the last 2 years. 2020 canceled, 2021 canceled. 2020 was going to be a good year. We were all set to host nationals once again in Kingston here in Ontario. Haven't hosted since those games, which we're going to revisit back in 2011, where Team Ontario won the finals 82-68 over Nova Scotia. So we're gonna relive that with some of the members of that team that went undefeated at home last time we hosted national championships here in Ontario. So I'll start bringing them in. We got the coach, Chris Chang. We got
Devin
Kazakeen, who's first team in those games. Same with Marco Pirovic. Dwayne Notice as well. Mikhail McIntosh.
Who's good, yo?
Not to mention Dwayne Notice was MVP of that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of an introduction as far as where you were at back then, but I'll get you each to go through a bit of your career since and what you're doing now. I guess the segment is where you've been the last 10 years. We'll start with you, Coach Chris.
Well, first of all, it's a real pleasure to be kind of in this virtual room with all these guys. I don't think I've seen these guys in person all together. I know I've seen them individually, so it's good to see you guys. I appreciate you guys coming on this. The last 10 years for me, there's kind of been a lot of moving parts, similar to like these guys. I have 3 kids now. When these guys first met me, I had no kids. I wasn't married. These guys actually came to my wedding. I'm sure we'll get to that. But 3 kids, and now at the University of Windsor as a head coach.
Who wants next? Keza, you're next on the screen.
Yeah, so for the last 10 years, I initially went to University of Illinois State, and after a pissed off at Cleveland State, ended up at Carleton University, where I went to win 2 national championships, and I had a fun time there, and then decided to play professionally. I'm going to my 5th year. Made stops in the G League in Holland, Germany, and now going into my 2nd year in France. Le Mans Sark is the name of the club I play for.
Very nice. France must be nice. Speak French?
What?
Speak French?
Oh, yeah, actually I do, so I couldn't hear you cut out. Yeah, I speak French. It helps out a lot when you're there, and the team and the organization really love it that I could speak the language and get along with them that way.
Kyle, you're up next.
The last 10 years, I actually joined Keza. I went to Illinois State as well. But then after 3 years, I decided to transfer to Oregon. I went to the University of Oregon for a year, and then started my professional playing career, and played in Korea for a little bit, played in the NBA G League with the Raptors under 5, played in Belgium this past year in France, and next year going to be playing in Australia.
Nice. Hey, Dwayne, you in Jamaica right now, they were saying?
Yep. That's where I'm at. Getting some recovery time in right now, that's all.
All right, in between seasons. And where are you playing now? And where you been?
Past 10 years, man. Since seeing these guys join the University of South Carolina, was fortunate enough to go to the Final Four there my senior year. And after that, I left, went to Poland for half a season, had a tumultuous time there, left there, came back, joined Team Canada. Also played with the 905 for the past 2 years, not including last season. I got hurt, so I'm still recovering from an Achilles rupture. And then we'll see what happens in the future. I'm excited to go back onto the court.
And Marco, you're last but not least.
Usually, you save the best for last, but probably let me go because these guys are all ballers still. But no, after Ontario, I was lucky enough to play with these guys, with Team Canada, for under 17 and under 19 for the FIBA qualifiers, also the World Championship, which was an awesome experience for me. And then after that, I went to the University of Maine for 4 years, played with one of my Team Ontario teammates there, Troy Reed Knight. So me and him went to the University of Maine. That was a good time. I spent 4 years, graduated, met my wife, and I chose love over basketball. So that's what happened there. And now I'm basically a men's league all-star. So if you catch me out, you gotta watch. I still gotta do,
This guy's a goof, bro.
but I'm glad. And it's just awesome to see that their careers are just only growing, and I'm really excited for the future for all these guys.
Don't worry, Marco. If my coach ever says you need a pick and pop 3 guy, you're the first on the list. Huh? First call.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we'll get to some questions, kind of just general. We'll keep it fun and light, though. Like if you guys got stories or things you want to put in there or ask each other questions, we'll roll with it. And then also just for anyone watching, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, if you have a question that you want to put in the chat box, we can bring it up on screen and get that going too. So I guess when you guys came together in 2011 and you were forming Team Ontario under Coach Chris Chang, like how much had you played with or against each other? Like how well did you know each other at that point?
Well, me and Macau, we went to high school together, so we had been like really close from like 10th grade on, 9th grade on. I know we went to private school in the States together. Same with Dwayne. We all played together when we were under 15, so we already had that kind of connection, and we already were all really close. When we were like really, really young, we all kind of didn't really get along, to be honest, because Dwayne was kind of like LeBron, still LeBron James of that era. So he was kind of like, just a lot better than everybody. And then Macau was Macau was the same size he is now, same with Dwayne. And then I was about like 5'1", so it didn't really help out that I was so much smaller than everybody else. And then Marco kind of lived in the middle of nowhere, well, still does live in the middle of nowhere. So we didn't really like know of each other. But then it was kind of like it clicked, like we all just came together and spending summers together, we just got really, really close, and to the point where we're all basically family now. Like we spend summers together and we're always talking all the time. So I think that's like Team Ontario kind of built that relationship or allowed us to flourish in that relationship. So we got to give it to that organization for that.
Most definitely.
Facts.
Any disagreements, or does that pretty much sum it up?
Nah, he right. We definitely all played against each other when we were kids. Played with each other. We didn't like each other at all. I just want to go on record. They talk about they played together in high school, and I swear to God, Macau goaltended every shot in high school. I swear to God. I just want to out.
I mean, it's only fair you took steroids, so I mean, we had to even it out somehow.
Nah, but also talking about how we played against each other when we were younger. Troy Reed Knight was also someone that was on my team as well. That kind of helped with our camaraderie and our chemistry going forward with Team Ontario. We played on St. David's together when we used to play against Macau and Kaiser. And like Kaiser said, we didn't really meet Marco until later, but we all had that strong bond going forward.
Sure. I agree, Dwayne. No, definitely. I didn't know any of these guys. Like, I came from the Callan area. I played, I'm telling you, I had nobody at my high school game. So when I got to compete against these guys, it was awesome. It was a new level to see that when I came at the provincial level to go tryouts and stuff like that. And once we made the team, I remember I first met Mikhail, and we were roommates. Okay, at team at tryout, and I remember we didn't. There was still tension in the room the first night. It was whatever. I remember to this day because nobody knew each other, right? You know how tryouts is. And then I said, "Okay, guys, don't worry. I'll set the alarm for tomorrow morning, so it wakes us up." And yo, Merv, what song was it that when it went off, you were just like, "Bro, that's your alarm." And then we were the boys from that point on because you love that song.
Was it a Nicki Minaj song or something like that?
No, it was yo, my God, I cannot remember. And I don't want to start singing here because I'll just embarrass myself.
Yo, sing it, bro, so we know. I need to remember. I don't
We'll
remember.
know it if we hear it.
Yo.
I don't remember the tracks, though.
So what song is that?
What?
I didn't catch the point. I'm not
I
gonna lie to you.
didn't catch that one. Vibe it out again, bro.
No. I'm gonna find out what song it was, but that's how me and Mikhail we kind of clicked after that because he's like, "Yo, bro, that's my favorite song," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's mine too." And then we were just,
A Nicki Minaj song?
I don't think,
No. I don't think it was Nicki.
I don't think it was, Nicki, but man, the bonds that I made in Ontario, they just continue to grow over the years, and it's amazing that we all still stay in touch. You know, we have our own group chat that we like to just, even if it goes days or weeks at a time, nobody messages. It's like whenever that person does say something, it's like it never skips a beat. You know, these guys are my brothers, and you know those kind of bonds, you can't make them like that no more. The Team Ontario created that, so I'm so grateful for that. You know, that team, that organization was amazing.
No, it's facts. It's facts. Couldn't agree with you guys more. You guys are my bros. You guys became my bros, became more of my brothers when we were on Team Ontario. You know, I mean, I hated Dwayne, so so we all I mean, I hated Dwayne and all that stuff, but you know what I mean, and I like everybody said, we didn't really know Marco, but we all became boys and became friends, and it was a long lasting bond that we have that, like, even when I went to school with Keza, prep school, or I went to college with Keza, and then I got a chance to play Raptors 95 with Do. Like, it was just like we never skipped a beat at all, and we just have those memories and those jokes, and even like you said, going to your wedding where it was like hella fun, and it was, you know what I mean, we had the best time ever dancing and all that stuff. So, like, you know what I mean, it was just a bond that can never be broken. So
record too, like, because of Coach Chris Shane's wedding is the reason why I want to get married. Before that, I did not want to get married. I started, but that's how great.
Oh, Lee, that was lit. That was
the best day of my life.
Yo, that day was funny, yo. That was a great day.
Okay, I'll break down the wedding day just quick.
Oh,
we hadn't seen each other in about 5 years, like 4 years. We hadn't, no, maybe less, maybe like 3 years. I seen Macabre, I hadn't seen Dwayne in like 3 years, and Coach had this wedding, and he invited us. So this was the first day we were all gonna get back together. So we're like, yo, let's just do it big. Let's all meet up at Dwayne's house the night before, and we're just gonna do the whole day, you know, just together, just partying. And literally from 7 a.m. until the next day, we just all had like the time of our lives together, just dance at this party, at his wedding, and, you know, meeting new people and having that bond together. It was just like a memory that I'll never forget to this day. Like, I have the pictures still from his wedding. There was a photo booth, and we had like put on the glasses and stuff like that. And I still have those pictures. Like, I put them in the book where my passport is. Like, I bring it everywhere with me because those pictures to me are just like, this is my family, you know? So that day will forever be like the best day of my life, or one of the best days of my life. Even more than like winning a championships or anything like that. It was definitely one of those days to remember.
Lifelong bonds for sure. And, you know, members of that 2011 team, is there anyone that's not here that deserves a shout out?
Oh,
Trezzy.
Yeah.
Trezzy. Troy.
Yeah. Troy Reed Knight.
Yeah.
We had Nick Madre was part of that crew. Agunwa Akoli, Agunwa messaged me.
Blue, man, you gotta put Blue in there, man.
Brian Blue.
Shout out to Blue.
Yeah, members of the team, like there was Kamara Lean, Mackenzie Morrison was there, Marcus Lewis. Oh man,
Coach Fati,
Coach Manny was on that team.
Was Big Mike with the Mohawk? He was that.
Mike was there. Big Mike was there. Henry Tan.
Oh my God, Big Mike.
Yeah, Mike was hilarious though.
We had like me and Marco and I think Juno. We had Mohawks like during training camp, you know. And then the day before we're all going home, and then we're gonna come back for nationals. It was like 3 days break. And Marco and all of us said, yo, let's just all come back with like Mohawks, like, you know, like a cut in, like nice, like Mohawk type of thing. So we're like, okay, everybody's like, okay, we're going to do this. So we all show back one by one. And we're like, oh, like your haircut's fire. Like your haircut's nice.
you know, and then like Big Mike came back
Bald.
like literally bald, and just a one streak down the middle, you know, and we were like, yo, we love you. Like, this is what we need, and you just brought that. Like, you know what I mean? You just literally brought the thing we need to this team. And he just was like, you guys should get a mohawk. So I got a mohawk, you know?
No, that
It
man was
was the best
hilarious.
thing ever.
Oh,
So that's why Marco calls him Big Mike with the mohawk, because since that day he was Big Mike with the mohawk. Love it.
you know, everyone had the nice styled, you know, full. This guy came great biker. I love it.
You know, with this crew, it really started the year before, and Dwayne wasn't with us the year before, and you know, we took a trip to Argentina, and I was an assistant coach on that team, and then I got offered the head coaching job because Brad Roots left, and it was like literally a month before nationals, and we were going to Argentina, and that's when the bond started. We went to Manitoba, and we lost in the finals to Quebec. And that was an emotional night for all of us. And I remember saying to, you know, Keza, Mikhail, and Marco, who were there, I said, remember the score, because it's not going to happen again. And the score was 86-75. And literally a week after, I tortured myself in my room, and I watched the finals every single day until school started in September. And credit to, you know, Fatih, Brian Blue, and I, we met, and these guys don't know this, we met once a month planning our season out. And I think it was during Christmas break, we slept at Fatih's house planning out the whole year. It's okay, this is what we're going to do. And I think it was Keza or Kyle, one of you guys said, hey, Dwayne wants to play. I said, okay. Brian Blue's like, I'm on it. I'm going to go to St. Mike's. I'm going to go visit him for lunch. I'm going to make sure that he's going to be committed. And that's where it all started. Then we kind of got it all together. And I remember I took the team out before training camp started, their returns. We went to Boston Pizza. And we kind of just sat down and we talked. And I remember Keza, Mikhail, and Mark said, look, coach, we ain't losing. Like, we ain't losing. And that training camp started. These guys were there early. When guys were getting out of their cars, these guys were greeting them at their cars, say, hey, you ready to win? That was the question. You ready to win? And every training camp was like that. And then when we trained at Humber, I didn't allow the guys to practice on the main floor. I don't know if you guys remember this. We always practiced on the side courts, and they were pissed. Like, coach, like the main court's wide open. I wouldn't let them shoot on it, Devin. They weren't even allowed to shoot on it, only on the side courts. And I said, listen, based on how the schedule is, you only play on the main court on championship night. And that motivated them right from the beginning because they weren't allowed to play on the main court. And it just kept going from there. And the leadership of these guys and how they wanted to win and how they wanted to win together was phenomenal. So credit to these guys. These guys actually started the bond. It was because of level competition.
Through all that process, and Chris, you would have had a role in this. Like, how did you guys develop your skills in that Team Ontario environment? Like, how did you come away from it as a better player?
Just pushing each other every day.
Literally.
Yeah. It was a competition.
Every day.
It was
like we wouldn't always team up on the same team. We try and go against each other on a consistent basis. Like, we held each other accountable. We held ourselves accountable. And that's why, like, we have that relationship, because if I was slacking off or if I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing or whatever, I had to be held in check. Like, these were the guys that held me in check. And I attest them to that because that's allowed me to grow as a basketball player and as a human being. So I feel like that was a big thing for our team. We all had that respect, that mutual respect for coach and as one another as players. So it allowed us to kind of flourish on the floor.
Definitely. The intensity and all those practices, man, that epic. And like, we were best bros off the court, you know, like in the rec room, we're playing ping pong, whatever. But off the court, if I'm playing the fight, and we respected that level of intensity in practices or no matter what drills we were doing to compete against one another. And that's what helped push us, you know. Other people around us kept seeing, okay, this is the intensity we need to bring, you know, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to create that atmosphere and that culture. And, you know, Coach Chang always pushed us to compete, and we knew that there was no other level other than 100. You know? So I remember that. It used to be intense training sessions. It was amazing.
there's a couple of scenes I remember. Well, two things that stand out. Big Mike was not in the greatest shape, but we needed his size. And after practice, Keza goes to Big Mike and says, "Listen, man, hey, you got to be in better shape if you're gonna help us win gold." And Big Mike would run sprints after practice, and Keza's joining him. And then the rest of the crew, as training camp went on, everyone's running after practice. And I'm looking at myself, saying, "What happened?" And they're just like, they just want to be in better shape. And I remember saying to Fatih, I'm like, this is a special group. In practice, we had some newcomers come in, like the 16U guys, because they were in that position the year before. And Marco was kicking guys out of practice because they weren't competing. And it was just left with like 7 guys. And remember, the players were looking at me and says, "Coach, you're not going to do anything?" I'm like, "Hey, he lost last year. He wants to win last year. I'm not going to stop him." Then Mikhail's getting his back, get out. Then Kate's like, get out. And these guys are just playing 3-on-3, the whole time in practice. And guys knew the next day, like, all right, if we're not going to live to the standard of these returners, then we're never going to play. And at Nationals, Mikhail and Marco, these guys had a bet who would get the most rebounds at the end of the national championships.
Yo, I'm still upset about that. I'm still upset about that. I'm like, yo, Marco, bet. I'm going to get the most rebounds. Marco's like, no, I'm going to get the most rebounds. I look at the end of the game. I'm like, yo, I only had like 4 rebounds. I was like, Marco, how much rebounds you have? Man, Marco said 22. I said, bro, no, get the hell out of here. Get the heck out of here. I was so upset. I was like, bro, there's no way you had 22 rebounds, bro.
Yo, half for though, so I can't. You know what I mean?
No, honestly though, I think with this situation, why it was so key for all of us, and I think it was a learning process for me. Like basketball wise, I think obviously we were gonna get better because we were just put in an environment where you had to like play hard and stuff like that. But the thing I think I learned most about that trip was like learning how to put your ego to the side. Like we were all very talented, we were all very good, we were all getting highly recruited. But it was like, okay, am I gonna look and be like, you know what? Let me put my ego to the side and come together for a bigger cause. Like we hadn't won a national Ontario hadn't won a national championship in like 3-4 years. So this was the team that was supposed to basically bring it back, and we had all the talent. The other teams had the talent in the past, but it was guys weren't able to put their ego to the side. In those provinces like Nova Scotia, they were able to do that because they knew this was all they had. And I think that was the biggest thing I learned in that time was like, let me put my ego to the side and let me try to put this team first. And then I think the second thing was like learning how to lead. I think we had like a decent amount of young guys, but we had the 4 or 5 of us that were returning, and we had to lead these guys into a direction. And coach gave us a lot of leeway to lead them in our own different ways. Like me, I was definitely like I'm gonna get in your face, grab your jersey, and but a guy like Dwayne and Mikhail are probably more of I'm gonna put my arm around you. Hey, it's okay, like let's get back.
Marco.
Marco. Get the heck out the gym.
Not Marco.
You know what I mean?
No, not Marco at all.
Yeah, exactly. So it allowed us to like learn in which way we led the best. And I wouldn't try to lead the way Dwayne led, and Dwayne wouldn't try to, but we knew how to feed off of each other. And I think, that was the main thing. And we were all also just insanely competitive. Like I'll never forget. We would find little things to just get on. Like I remember we were playing BC, and we loved wearing our red jerseys. Like we just loved. No, it was our white jersey. Sorry. And we came out, and we technically were like the away team or the home team. I don't know what the exact thing was, but their coach complained and sent us back in the locker room to change our jerseys. And I will never forget, like when we were changing, I just looked around the room and it just looked like everybody was foaming at the mouth. Like we're about to go out here. And I just remember first play was like Mikhail dunk, second play a Gunwa dunk, like everybody's just dunking everything. And I just remember standing back like, that was the dumbest thing. Why would you just give more meat to a pit bull? Like it makes no sense, But just little things we just found to be more competitive. And I think that was very key too.
When you just look at the box scores, it looks convincing every game, right? You ran through teams and you look good doing it, right? The jerseys, the shoes, shout out to Nike, our longtime sponsor, right? And, I think that came from the commitment that you all put in. And a lot of guys, they go play AAU, it's the summertime. It's smack dab in the middle of provincial team nationals. Why did you guys all commit to play Team Ontario?
Well, coach did a good job of allowing us to get like a mixture of both. And I think that was something that was very key. Was he like, he had those conversations with like, listen, I'm not going to stop your recruiting. I'm not going to stop you from getting opportunity to get recruited. So we're going to basically, listen, when you're here, you're here. And we will make sure we put you in a position to get better and all that. Then you guys go with your teams for your weekend trips and whatnot. But when you get back, you better be here, you know? And we all committed to that. And some guys weren't ready to commit to that, and that's okay. We understood. But the guys, the main core guys said, no, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it the right way. And if he's going to give us an opportunity to still go play AAU sometimes, we just have to basically make the best of it. And it worked out for all of us. All of us ended up getting scholarships and stuff like that. So I think that was the best way, and that helped out.
Also, just like to touch back on what Coach Chang and Keza said, one, we were all very competitive. So the fact that we lost the year before in Manitoba to Quebec because Olivier Hanlon absolutely cooked us, I'm not coming back to take that gold back, you know, especially when I was at home. So, you know, there wasn't much convincing for me. I was just ready to go. I was ready to bite whoever was in the way.
You know, one thing about the competitiveness and just the edge these guys had, there was a possession, I think third quarter, fourth quarter against BC in that semifinals, and one of the players was holding Mikhail, and Mikhail said, Mikhail says, "Don't touch me, don't touch me," and the guy kept touching him and touching him, and we're up like 30 at this point, and it was an inbound play in front of our bench, and I called the play. Mikhail comes up to me really quickly before the ball's inbound. He goes, "Coach, we're not running that play." He goes, give me the ball. And I said, "What?" And Mikhail goes, "Don't worry, Coach, I got it." So, and I'm looking at myself and said, okay, like we're up 30. I trust Mikhail. He says, I can't remember who he said. He goes, "Just give me the ball." He gets it to the corner. He swipes baseline and he dunks it on this guy. Dunks it. And he looked at me. He goes, "I told you, don't fucking touch me." And the whole gym goes crazy. And I said, yeah, he has it. And that was just a competitive edge that these guys had, you know, and talk about their commitment. Like what guys don't know to why we were successful to build this culture with Team Ontario is that these guys just didn't commit for the summer. They're committed all year round, you know, all year round. And we saw each other during holiday breaks and we got into the gym with CP sessions. These guys were all in their respected prep schools in the States. They would come back, we would get together, but they were always communicating with one another. And it was just not a commitment for those months. It was all year round. So when we saw each other, when it was time to go, we were prepared because, you know, we never skipped the beat. And you could tell now, like the beat hasn't stopped because these guys commitment to one another today.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, Team Ontario was the time where we actually got to be together. You know what I mean? And so when they were giving us that opportunity to be like, hey, we're going to give you guys a gym. You guys could just crack heads against each other all summer. And then after you guys do that, you guys could just hang out and be together. It's like, okay, thanks for just basically setting us up for the best summer of the year. Like, you know, the best time of the year. So that's basically what it was. Like, we were so close where we wanted to do that because it was a time that we were allowed to be together, you know? So that's what kind of added to it, too.
I'm about to say, for me, it wasn't much convincing. One, I wasn't with you guys the year before, and I was already upset that we hadn't won in a long time, so I was committed to playing because I wanted to bring a championship back to Ontario. And then two, like Keza and everybody else mentioned, we already had that brotherhood already brewing in the beginning. So having that opportunity to play basketball and kind of, you know, push each other, but also have that opportunity to kind of continue that brotherhood by hanging out off the court. And someone like me who grew up in Vaughan, went to St. Mike's, like very diverse situations, I didn't really have strong, like committed friends. So being able to have these brothers I could not only get better on the court with, but also, you know, better my relationship with somebody I could, you know, hopefully be in my wedding one day type of vibe, like it was no brainer for me. So that's why I wanted to continue to come back. And then, you know, one thing I learned about growing up is like playing AAU throughout the summer, playing 5 games in one day is not beneficial to your career. So having somebody like Coach Chang that's able to focus on skill development and also put us in these live segments and environments that allows us to get better has also helped our game like tremendously. So I felt like when you have that equal balance, and like Keza mentioned earlier, we had that transparency, that talk where it's like you're still able to go to a tournament here and there, but when you come back, it's our time and we're going to get better collectively and we're going to get better individually. So for me, that was like all I need to hear for me to kind of be committed to the situation.
Yeah, and not only did you guys do it together, but you accomplished the goal. You won the gold medal, right? And when you're looking around and you think, wow, we're some of the best players in the country. We just won the national championship. I mean, I talked to RJ Barrett about this. He said he remembers when he was on Team Ontario and he won the national championship. And he's like, that made me confident. Like, that was a confident RJ. I felt like, wow, I'm one of the best players in the country. Did you guys feel confident after that and carry that forward with your careers?
Personally, yeah, I definitely felt like winning that was like, for me, it was like still one of the biggest things I've ever won. So it was pretty exciting for me, and I still hold that as like something big time for me to win personally as an individual. But I know it was like I know that I did it with my bros, like made it even better. Like it made me even more confident. Being with these guys made me super confident. Like nobody could tell me anything on the court if I was with these guys, because these guys were gonna gas me up and say whatever. And that's how we just were. We always gassed each other up to the point where like if anybody said anything to you on the court, like you would just laugh them off, because like, yo, we don't care about what you're saying. Like we know what we're gonna do. Like we all know what we're gonna do. We beat each other up in practice every single day. None of you guys are better than any of us already, so it doesn't matter what the heck you say. All we gotta go out there and do is be ourselves. So I think that like added the confidence factor, especially to me, but I'm sure to these guys too.
No, I totally agree with Mikhail. I think the whole coaching staff, they just reiterated the confidence in us individually and as a team the whole time we were there. And I've had coaches after Team Ontario and even before that who might not instill that confidence in me, and it really reflects in your game. So the fact that I had I knew that all the coaches trusted in me, trusted in my game, trusted in my role, and then my teammates as well. We all knew, what our strengths were, what our weaknesses, but we played so well together that you couldn't see our weaknesses. So definitely couldn't agree more that confidence was sky high there. And after that, it really, winning a gold medal helped me, say like RJ Barrett said, like, hey, I'm one of the best. I'm like one of the top dogs here in the province. Like I think I have a chance at making the national team. And, the Team Ontario is really that stepping stone to get to the national level. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy with where my career went after that.
Yeah, I cried like a baby after I won.
Ooh, I cried.
I gotta lie, I cried. I think it was just more tears of like relief. Like finally, you know what I mean? Like they kind of doubted us. They didn't really think we could do it. And I don't think they didn't think we could do it. They just thought like we were just overrated in a sense. And I think with me, what was really big was like, I don't think it was a confidence thing. It was just more of like, I got to do something with people I love. I think that was the main thing for me. And with that, like, I don't think it really was something where I looked, I'm like, oh man, this helped my confidence. I think I just more looked at it, I was like, this is really big. And this is big for the province. This is big for people around me. And we're all going to get a better opportunity from this. And then I think the icing on the cake was they told us before, like, if we win, we'd get a ring. So I think the whole time I was just thinking, like, I want to get a ring. So let's do this, boys. And we all came together, and that was like the big thing. I think it was just really nice to have that, share that bond and share that championship with people I really cared about.
For me, I think it's
because we were pretty confident at the time, maybe overly confident, to be honest. Like we kind of walked around, like looking back on it now, like we walked around like we had nothing to lose, you know. And I remember I was talking to one of the young kids, like he played with me at Carleton, and he's like, I remember we would show up to your guys' games, and it was like the Lakers, like the show, you know what I mean? So like we definitely all were pretty confident people. So I don't think it helped like me with that, but it definitely helped me like enjoy basketball. It was the first time I think I look back and I'm like, man, I really enjoyed winning that with people I care about.
Right. I had to learn that much too recently, like just being at St. Mike's, losing at every public school imaginable. Like I was just happy to have an opportunity to win something. So to play for gold, that obviously inspired confidence in my game going forward throughout my career. That was big for me. So I appreciate that. But I think the confidence also breeds from like respect, and we all have respect for each other's game. Yeah, we held ourselves to a high standard, but nobody was above anybody else. So I feel like that went a long way as well. That kind of contributed to what we did with Team Ontario. But yeah, that was an incredible feeling, just having that like home team vibe too as well, like winning in your home court type of vibe in front of the family and friends. that was like good for me because my family didn't really watch me play that much basketball. Just being at St. Mike's, we're playing in all these other, different cities, and early in the day, my parents couldn't come off work. So having the opportunity to kind of win it on the home court was kind of cool as well. And then, like I said, the respect thing was cool because it came to a point where, they had my back. So I'll never forget because the finals game, I played like horrible. I played trash against Nova Scotia. But it was to the point where I wasn't concerned because I knew that everybody behind me had my back. All my brothers had my back. So that definitely instilled confidence in me.
Let's do photo time. You guys can comment on a couple of photos that Coach Chris Chang sent.
Sounds good.
That's a tight nick.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
It was a very tough pick.
That was right before tip-off.
That's right. Was that every game kind of thing?
Yeah, we actually always had these huddles.
Yeah.
I think we always had this huddle, and then we would just talk all types of junk. Like, yo, these guys doubted us. Like, how they not believe us? Like, it was just mad, like, amping everybody up. Like, I remember just, like, punching Marco in the chest and stuff. Like, yo, you guys don't believe in me, And then we would just go out there and just be hungry for 40 minutes. We'd be up, like, 50 points, and we'd be looking at each other like craziness in our eyes. I think that was one of those huddles, like just kind of getting each other going, to be honest.
You hyped Marco up and then he did stuff like this.
Okay. No, I had some juice back then.
Yo, young legs.
This man said he had juice. That's all arms, bro.
Dude, that's a nice pick. Look at that, yo. Woo.
That's actually nice, though.
Jeez, I'm screaming in the background on the bench. Jeez, Marco, okay.
Look at that. Look at those arms. Jeez.
Yo, man. Funny. Holy. Duno, you're watching me. You're used to being up there. That was the first time you see me.
Look at Cole.
Focus. Look at that. Focus.
Focus.
With every game that we played, it showed that we're up 30. It never felt that way. It never felt like we were up that much because we were just so worried about winning every single possession and playing hard. And we never looked up in this, like we would look up in the score and we never said, hey, we're up 30, let's cool off. It's like we're not done competing. And we were just ready for the next possession. When the game was over, the guys were ready for the next game. So like it kept me focused because these guys were not gonna put, they wanted to like put it down their throats. And it's something they collectively wanted to do. So I'm like, all right, if that's what they want to do, I'm going to keep coaching these guys up.
Yeah, and I think, too, with that, like, we've been going for 2-3 months in the summer, like, beating each other up. So, like, we got into the games and we're like, I don't care. We get to beat somebody else up. We're going to take advantage of this. We didn't care what the score was. So, that was nice.
Facts.
What's happening here?
Oh, my.
Yo, this is a tough pick. Yo,
I need this.
I need this picture.
I need that picture.
I need this picture. Yo, this is elite picture. Elite picture. I need this.
That's a young RJ Barrett right there.
Jeez.
Look at Michael on the right.
Yo, man looks mad MAGA. Holy, I didn't show him this pic.
Now, that was the crazy thing about that, though, is that, like, all of our little brothers, like, the next generation was there. Like, RJ, my brother was there, Michael was there. And we didn't even know it, too. That's the funny thing. We didn't even know they was going to be there. That's what made it all better.
Yeah.
Why am I sweating so hard? Jeez, that's why I said Jeez.
Mans are hitting E before it even came out.
Jeez. The gully creeper. I say gully creeper.
Bro, why am I wearing teal pants, bro?
Jeez. That was your swag, huh?
It was ahead of its time, so.
Bro.
We'll finish it off here.
Yeah, go pick.
The taste of gold. That's what that picture is.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah.
It's a tough pick, man.
Anyone got any more memories they want to share on court, off court before we sign off?
At my wedding, so these guys were all at my wedding, and they had their section in the corner, the loudest section in the whole banquet hall. And when these guys got the invitations, there was no question these guys are going to be part of it. These guys are part of my family. And I remember during the reception, we're all eating, and these guys go up to the mic. And this wasn't part of the itinerary. Like, the MC's was like, what's going on? And they just grabbed the mics and they just spoke. They spoke from the heart. And I remember tearing in the back. I'm thinking, look, like these guys were just expressing same thing, the love that they have for one another, the opportunities, that Team Ontario brought them. And now they're back here, and it's, we're just back together as a family. And an hour later, when speeches were all done and we're all partying and drinking, and I shouldn't have mentioned that part, but we were just all having a good time. Like that was a special moment for me, more than the championships, because these guys are family. When we see each other, it's all love. Even though Keza was at Carleton and losing to Carleton when I was coaching at Nipissing, it was all love. I love these guys, and these guys made me a better coach. They challenged me. When we talk about how competitive we were, I remember always changing the score on these guys just to piss these guys off. And these guys are arguing with me.
Facts. I remember that still.
Just to see how much I could get out of them. Then they finally figured out exactly, what I was doing, and then they played along. And then I was like, all right, I got to come up with a different strategy against these guys, just keep these guys competitive. Not to say that they needed it; they had enough fuel in their fire. But these guys are special guys, and I'm proud to see what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's been fun, man, and like the whole all my years with Team Ontario been exceptional. For my first year when we were all like 15 and under out in BC, just having the time of our lives, and then going to Manitoba where had this little rough patches at times, but it ended up going pretty well for us. Didn't get what we wanted, but it was a good time. And then my last year, but like some stories that will always, I remember one time somebody showed up late to practice.
Oh man, I'll tell the story too, bro.
And coach put a chair in the middle of the floor. And told the player to sit there. I'm not gonna tell you who the player was, but he told him to sit there. And now I'm looking like, I'm like, nah, he's not about to make us run for this. Man, we were running and running and running.
It wasn't regular running.
No, it was like 17s and 17s, and then we go 55s, and I'm there like, bro, listen, I'm not trying to do this, like, you know what I mean? But it was just the teachers, and then his speech basically was like, listen, if somebody's late, that's on all of you, especially the leaders. You guys should make sure everybody should be at practice on time. So then that's when we came together, guys had to go knock on doors. We had different people we had to go get to make sure they showed up, So it just, I think those are like the stories. Like the basketball part of it to me was always fun because we got to win and stuff like that. But those stories outside in the wedding, like I said, I think those are the greatest moments for me when it comes to Team Ontario. It's bigger than just basketball. It created a family, and I think that's I appreciate the most about it.
And I want to add one more thing before some of these guys chime in, but the key ingredient here to winning was the leadership that these guys have. They took complete ownership of the team. And I remember in our quarterfinal game against Saskatchewan, we played bad, despite the score. We played bad, and I remember not sleeping that night. I went to Kaze's room past midnight, banging on his door. And I said, Kaz, we can't be playing this. And Kaz was like, yeah, I know. Then I'm banging on Mikhail's door, and literally the next day we had breakfast, and we're supposed to meet at a certain time. And I remember walking to the breakfast room, and the guys were in there. Like, they were all in there as a team. And these guys on the call right now were stand up talking. Like, I didn't even listen to what they said. I just walked away. I said, okay, they're in a meeting right now. And I remember, I think Casey came in and goes, Coach, we're ready to have breakfast now. And it just switched. Like, these guys they didn't accept how they played. And then we went to BC and put 50 on BC, and then after that we went and won the gold medal. And it was just, it was on cruise control from there because of the leadership of these guys.
I think my top story was just the frustration. I don't remember if any of you guys remember. Probably you guys do, of course. Is when, remember the whole fracture of my finger and then the bone came out. Yeah. And that was just like a frustrating time because, as we talked about, like, I was like so amped to play and ready to go and just working hard to play and do everything I could to get on the court. Then that happened, and it was like discouraging. But like, these guys were in my corner every day talking to me, saying everything they could just to make sure I was feeling all right. You know, I mean, I couldn't be involved in practice or do this and that, and I ended up actually having to come off the bench during the nationals, and even then, like I'd have been unusual teams, and I mean, you might feel that you know, I mean, your boys are playing and you want to be out there together, but like I trusted them so much, and I had such trust in the entire team, the staff, and everybody that like we would win and do what we needed to do, that I didn't even care. Like I didn't care about anything. I just cared about like us winning. Like I cared about going out there and doing everything I needed to win. Like I don't remember how much points I averaged, rebounds I got, or whatever. I didn't care about none of that except for the last game, of course. But other than that, I don't remember about anything else. I just wanted to go out there and win, get the gold, and celebrate with my guys. So I just remember them being there for me in that situation because I was super down and wasn't sure if I'd be able to even play. But I ended up being able to play and coming off the bench and just bringing the energy I could and just playing the role. Like, I mean, in usual situations, like I said, it would be harder, but I trusted these guys. I love these guys. And I was just like, yo, like, I don't care, like, what happens. Like, I know these guys are going to take care of it. And whatever they need me to do, I'll do. So that was just, like, one of the main things I took away from the entire experience, especially that year about it. So.
Well, thanks, everyone. A couple.
But just one more thing before I leave. I just want to make sure we give Brian Blue like a lot of love and a lot of credit. You know what I mean? Because like that guy to this day, like, you know what I mean, if I was to call him and ask for anything, or, you know, like, he just has had our back since we were 15 years old, and I'm 50 years old. I'm 27 now. You know what I mean? And you'd text Blue and be like, man, I don't have nothing for lunch when you're in high school. And he would figure out ways to like get you lunch. You know what I mean? It's just like a great person to this day. Like we talk, he'll hit me up. And if there's like something investment wise, you know? So I think he doesn't get enough credit all the time. Like they just see the players on the court, but there was so much behind the scenes stuff. Or I was even thinking about our therapist at the time. He was a young guy. I want to say his name was Rob. Rob. Yeah, Rob. Like Rob was the first person that was around that actually taught me about like therapy and how to take care of my body the right way. You know what I mean? I think those things go unnoticed because everybody just sees like, you know, the guys on the court and the head coach and stuff like that. Petit, I'll never forget. Petit had us in Argentina thinking, I thought this guy could run through a wall. Like I thought he was an army, like strongest person in the world. You know, but it's like little things like that go unnoticed. But those people mean so much to me, and I hope they know that they're never forgotten. Like to this day, anytime I go out or I'm doing something, I still remember these people, and especially, you know what I mean, what they've done for all of us. So I just want to make sure if they're on, they hear this call or whatever occurs, that they know that they're very appreciated by all of us.
Yeah, 110%,
man.
I agree.
110%.
Everything you said.
1 second. First, shout out to Coach Gordo. I saw you. You were the one who said that pick and respect. That's Khaled and Cougars right there. Nothing. Yo, I actually remember that was one of the craziest experiences ever. It was all packed for summer because we left in the summer, but it was winter. So we're all
oh my gosh. Nobody told us that, fam. Holy.
Sweaters. We got blankets on the bench because I swear to God, they open all the doors in the gym. Like, you know,
there's dogs running on the court. Remember that? Yo, it was crazy.
Like those are some of the, like, just one tiny memory from Team Ontario, and like, and every one of those summers we just grew stronger and stronger. And you know, like Coach Shank said, he would just walk away from a discussion we were having because he put that trust in us. You know what I mean? So, like, every summer this bond just grew stronger and stronger, and you know it was a real one when it's lasted even past Team Ontario. Like, these guys are my brothers. If I see any one of those teammates, if I saw them on the street, I'd give them a hug right away. You know, those are my guys. Those are the guys I went to war with. So, like, this is such a fun little. I love that we're doing this little reunion here because just the amount of joy that got brought back to me. I feel like I got to go start running sprints now to get
Thanks, everyone, for your time. Kaza, Marco, Mikhail, Dwayne, Coach Chris. Awesome session.
What's up, little man?
There's the future, gold medalist.
I appreciate you for having me on, man. This was amazing.
Yeah.
I do more.
I appreciate having us, man.
All right. Hey, 10 years ago. It's crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully we'll be back
Weird.
national championships again next year, 2022.
Yes, sir. I'll
For
see
sure.
you. Just get ready.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.